I am so excited to be here today with an up and coming author whose book is going to redefine everything that you are thinking about leadership. Welcome today, Chet Harani. Hello.
Hi. Yeah, thank you for having me. This has been great.
Well, I'm really excited to have you because, I've been in the corporate world for a very long time. I have lived by many of the same things that you have lived by professionally, only to finally find a new way that actually feels good. And this is why I'm so excited about your new book, Burn the Rules, Lead from Within. This is going to be phenomenal because you are redefining what it means to be a leader.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the title basically says exactly what it is. It's what they say. It's like what's on the tin kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Those few words are just, it is enough of a message to send out to people, but then there's more in it inside the book.
And what do we want to burn about the leadership rules? I mean, I know what I want to burn, but you tell me, what are some of the things that you're ready to burn about leadership?
So when I talk about leadership, so the one thing that, the reason why this book sort of came to life was not just about the word leadership. It was about leading from within, but then also leadership from a personal and professional perspective, because it kind of like they do link together. We've experienced this over our corporate lives, but just in general, the whole burn the rules side of things, it's a case of we always following these rules, these social norms that have been going on, and we end up finding many, many years down the line, we're either burnt out
Mm-hmm.
or we feel like I've not had a life, or we feel, and most of the time, and that's all down to the fact that you are not controlling yourself. You're allowing other things to control you. Yes, there are specific ways of doing things like the practical elements of things,
Mm-hmm.
okay, the exercises that you do for yourself. But too often it's just following those specific rules when you're like, well, I don't need to do this particular rule at this point in time in my life.
But what's weird about being in corporate is that you sort of think that you're supposed to do
Mm.
it that way, that it is the playbook towards success. And I think what many of us have realized is we don't like the playbook, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't actually have to be that way. And it sounds like it was absolutely the same for
Yeah.
you, a tech executive in London, rising up through the
Hmm.
ranks, moving quickly,
Yeah.
and you pop your head up and look around and go, wait a second, like, what is all
Yeah.
of this?
Yeah. And look, don't get me wrong. It's not that I didn't enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Rising up the ranks, working up the ladder, as they say, it was fun. It was enjoyable when I look back at it. I don't have any regrets on that.
Mm.
But it's what you've learned from it all, where now what you can actually share and take that and explain and educate other people to say there's such a better way of doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But the best way of doing this is making sure that you are actually enjoying every single moment of it too.
Mm.
Because when I was rising up the ladder, there were moments that no way I did not enjoy it. There were moments I didn't even go into the office. Okay, that lots of things were going on, and you end up, I did, falling ill, right? You don't look after yourself,
Yeah.
and by just doing those small tweaks for yourself, and I call them small tweaks because they really are small tweaks, which can make a huge results.
But they feel huge.
Yeah, it's because we make them feel huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not allowing ourselves to control that. We're only making them feel huge because it just comes across huge what you're listening to out there and what other people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than hearing somebody else saying, "Oh, I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling burnt out," ask yourself, "Are you feeling the same way?"
Mm.
But then the chances are they'll probably be like, "Yeah, of course I'm feeling that way." But
Mm.
then what are you going to do about it? What needs to change?
So, what needed to change for you? What were the rules you had to burn?
Right. So that interesting question. So the rules I needed to burn. So, hey, when I talk about burn the rules, I don't talk about disrespecting people.
Mm.
Okay. It's always important to respect people. There are reasons why people are at specific levels in their organizations, in their businesses. There's a reason why they're there, and they fully deserve those positions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But one thing that I realized was that there's ways of the important thing that I realized was the questions that I was asking, learning how do I ask the right questions? Because I wasn't asking the right questions. I was expecting different things. I was expecting, well, if I'm over here, I can go up here because I've been in this company for like 4 or 5 years. It doesn't work that way, right? But what have I learned from it all? I didn't learn much. I knew I didn't learn much from it all, because I was realizing that, okay, what do I need to do if I want to get to a specific position, or is this position actually for me? Okay, because look, from a cultural standpoint as well, you always hear that, okay, getting up to Chet's a director, Chet's a manager or something. Oh, he's in a really high position. But that didn't mean anything to me, right? What meant something more to me was the fact that what is everybody going through? What are you going through? I don't need you to look at me. Can I help you get to this specific point? And if they say to me, well, I don't know how to do it, my questions to them would be like, so what are you actually doing? How are you doing things? And most of the time, some people would say, well, I really don't know what I'm doing. That's when I realized to say, okay, that's one of the rules that you need to break. Okay, the rule that you need to break is actually doubting yourself initially. Okay, and then reframing that, reprogramming yourself. Hence why the emotional intelligence side of things comes into play. And once you start figuring those sort of elements out, everything kind of just clicks into place. And I use an analogy of like when you're putting a key into a lock with multiple mechanisms, and the thing's not unlocking. But once it unlocks, everything else, all the cogs start sort of fitting into the
And you got to
direction.
try different ways that you want to do it your own way to figure out which one is truly going to work for you.
Because again, we all know one size does not fit all,
Exactly.
right? So find the way that works for you. We're all unique in our own ways. So find that way. Once you found that way, it will work. But there's also about the whole element of, and I really, discipline is huge to me. But it's also the consistency aspect of things. You don't just try once and you say it didn't work. Okay, maybe you've not tried hard enough, or try another angle, try something else. But that's something that we are not conditioned enough to to learn enough to actually do, which is why this book obviously helps them to sort of understand that there are variations. Find what works for you. It might not work overnight. It's not a 24-hour thing. But it can take time.
I think you almost have to take an inventory of the rules that don't resonate for you in leadership, and then you've got to actually see which ones would you want to replace those with. So before you know what you want to burn, you got to sort of try other things on for size. And I love the way that you frame this in your book, because you talk about it in the context of the 5 pillars of optimization.
5 states of optimization.
5 states of optimization. Talk us through that. And what will they help people out there optimize to?
So the 5 states of optimization, so they can be used in any particular order. There is no 1, 2, 3 element in here. So there's a planning state, the productivity state, the people state, prospect state, and the performance state. Now, all of this, I did not just come up with this just in thin air. I went through something life-changing for me personally to actually come up with these states of optimization. But essentially, the planning, prospect, people, and productivity state, they are actually what we know as our emotional intelligence. And each state allows you to sort of reprogram and redefine yourself. So let's take, for example, the productivity state. Now, the productivity state isn't just the word productivity. You need to increase your productivity. It's about what are you actually being productive about within yourself, okay? Not what's out there. Okay, planning state, let's say, for example. So again, productivity is all about self-awareness in that respect. The planning state, okay, yes, it's about creating sort of 30-day, 60-day, 90-day plans, but then you've got to create that for yourself. But as you create that for yourself, you've also got to be aware of everything else that's going around you too. And then you've got like the prospect state. This is actually not about finding the right prospect. It's about the network that you're around. That's what I mean about prospect state. Okay, that's social awareness. Are you surrounding yourself with the right people? If not, change it. because the chances are, and I've lived it, I've done that. I was surrounding myself with the wrong people, and I ended up regretting it because I wasn't going anywhere where I felt like I needed to go. I was stuck. So I wasn't controlling myself. They were controlling me in that respect. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to move away. Even if it's somebody so close to you, sometimes you have to take that step away.
Yes. And that's so hard for people to do because we wanted, I mean, the people pleaser comes out in us, or the person who just wants to, not rock the
Yeah.
boat too much. But sometimes stepping away from the crowd you rolled in, whether that's the industry you've been
Yeah.
in or the family you're born into
Yeah.
or whatever it might be, can be profoundly difficult.
Yeah.
What do you say to
Yeah.
somebody who's been trying to, how would they implement this? What would you say to someone dealing with this?
Well, I've dealt with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Right. So the thing is, look, there are people, I don't say to people, stop talking to them. You don't need to hang around with them, but you can step away from them because maybe the energy is not right for them, for you at that point. You got to think about you here as well. And I'll give a perfect example. I grew up with there's five best friends. Now we're all older. We've all leading our own lives now, married, children, etc., living in different parts of the world. And there were moments where we would always, as growing up, I remember that we'll always be sort of inseparable. And our parents knew each other. People were coming in and out of the house, doing all these sort of things. There are moments where they'd come to my parents' home when I was living there, and I was never there, right? Or they'd even stay the night and I wasn't even there, right? So it was that sort of friendship.
Right.
But then as we grew up, obviously, it's not saying that we grew apart. People are leading their own lives. But then I then decided, I decided, I'm going to say that intentionally. I decided that I don't necessarily need to be in communication with them consistently because they are not adding any value to me at this point in time. I know they're going to be there for me, or I'll be there for them in different areas. But if I'm running my business, if I'm coaching, if I'm traveling, speaking about it, they're not adding value to me. And I'm going to have to take that stand and say, well, look, it's nothing personal. I've got to think about myself here. Okay. And it's just like on social media. At one point, I went through my social media and I unfriended pretty much everyone.
Everyone has their unfriending moment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course they do, right? But then I started getting messages. Why are you not why have you unconnected with me? Why are we no longer friends on social media? I said, well, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm using this platform for me to run my business. Everything that you provide is not adding value to it. It's no disrespect, okay? But I have to take control of this matter. And that's what I mean about sort of when we talk about burn the rules and the social norms of things. We do things, but we think, what's the other person going to think of me? It doesn't matter. Do not worry about what other people think of you. I've learned that from my mother.
Yeah.
She has told me that day in, day out, continuously. It's not about what other people think about
That's
you.
your next book,
You just do
Lessons
that.
from My Mom.
Absolutely. Lessons from my mum. Yeah, she will absolutely love that.
You tell her I'll publish it.
Yeah.
So now you're a leadership coach. You've left the tech industry behind,
Yep.
you've left corporate behind, and now you're teaching executives as they're rising up the ranks or at the pinnacles of their career how to be better leaders. What is it like being on the coaching side of it?
It's not even probably, it is the best thing that I could possibly imagine. I've always wanted to coach. I just did not know what I wanted to coach in. Even from studying at university, there was always something there. I only, when I say recently discovered this, I only probably recently discovered this about 5 or 6 years ago, that I actually did not enjoy my degree. I actually did not enjoy me working, but I tried to enjoy it. I did as much as I possibly can to have fun in it. I don't have any regret of it. I made some great friends. Don't get me wrong, it actually helped me from sort of from a financial status, all these sort of things, absolutely. But it was something that was missing, and I only discovered that when I was at university. There was something somebody said to me about, Chet, you really get on with people. And then I thought to myself, I actually love people. Okay, but then what was it about people I just did not understand? Only then to realize that performance levels was important to me. And how to actually get the best out of people, individuals. Now, there are some people out there in the world can do it themselves. Now, we know some huge people that have done it for themselves. But there are there's more people that don't know how to do it themselves. Even when you're going into sort of the corporate world, in the exec world, it's a lonely place up there. We've all been there. But there's always this next step. So the performance side of coaching is what sort of attracted me. I always use analogies of athletes having that winning mentality, being relentless in what you're doing, and being totally obsessed in something. But the obsession, some people may turn around and say, well, that can work against you as well. Of course it can work against you, but then you got to be in control of the obsession. Right? And when you're in control of the obsession, you're also relentless in what you want to do. So you take athletes, for example, they have this winning state of mind, right? They constantly want to win. When they lose, that is just the worst feeling for them. That's why they don't lose. But why can't we also have that sort of mentality too, at home and at work? You know, we want to have that balance, even in relationships. It all sort of, everything ties in.
I love this so much. And I think one of the things that I think is really powerful about everything that you speak about is how much leadership is intertwined in every aspect
Yeah.
of our life. It's not just what you come down and sit at your desk and do,
Mm.
in your corporate park, right? It's
Yeah.
what you actually do day in and day out in every aspect of your existence. And I think you do a profound job of speaking about this and talking about that empathy, that resilience,
Yeah.
that discipline, but you need it in every area of your life. So everything that you talk about translates so well
Yeah.
to so many people out there.
Yeah. I mean, I always say it's in my DNA, right? Those sort of things. That's one of the reasons why I say, and I mentioned it in the book too, that I get certain attributes from my mother, certain attributes from my father. But then when I look back at things, it's like, people say to me that, Chet, you absolutely can talk to anyone. I said, yeah, I get that from my father, right? Whereas my mother, no way, right? She's very selective in who she speaks to, which again is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. See, so there's a nice balance there, and I feel super lucky that I've got that balance.
Right.
That even like I will speak to everyone, and I will go on stage or talk or coach or do something, and after that, I just need to have my own time. Right, I need to go away. I need to hide away for a little while and be like,
Yeah.
right, recompose yourself and then go back out from there. And it's just finding that sort of balance there, understanding these words that I say about relentless, and these aren't words that you hear often in everyday language sometimes. So I want to sort of bring that back out there in people to say, even when you just say the word relentless, you got to feel it. Even when you say the word obsessed, you got to feel it. When I say feel it, you really got to feel it inside you, almost to the point where like you start getting goosebumps, and that's when this whole energy will start coming in. And you're almost like a volcano waiting to erupt. And once that happens, that is probably the best feeling that you'll get.
Oh, I love this. What's your last piece of advice to leaders out there who are climbing that corporate ladder or at the top of their careers? They're struggling with where they're at. What's the one tip that you want to leave them with to just be better leaders?
One tip. Okay, so first of all, ask yourself the question, okay? Why are you in this state? What is causing you to be in this way? Why are you feeling this way? And then a simple question after that is say, am I in control of the situation? And if you're not, if the answer is no, then you know what you need to do about it. Get back into control of it. And if you can't, seek help. So there's a bit more than one there, right?
No, but it's perfect. Check in
Yeah,
with yourself, ask
absolutely.
yourself,
Yeah.
right? And then decide what you're going to do
Yeah.
about it. I think that's beautiful. Chet Harani, thank you so much for being with us today. Chet's book is Burn the Rules, releasing later in 2025. If you are ready to bring your soul sparking story to the world, find us at Soul Sparks Press.